brought to SCWIST when I first arrived in Canada in 2011. I came to Vancouver after finishing my PhD in Ireland, and I was looking for a job in Canada. A friend told me about SCWIST. She said it would be a great opportunity to meet lots of amazing women in different STEM fields and find out about different opportunities in Vancouver. So I jumped at the chance. I went to the Wonder Women networking evening in Science World, and I was looking for opportunities beyond research in industry and in other areas. And I met so many people that evening who were doing some amazing things in very different careers in STEM. And it really made me more interested in SCWIST. I ended up getting a research job in Vancouver, but continuing to engage with SCWIST through my work in UBC. And beyond that, really, I found a group of friends in SCWIST. So it was much more than professional networking, really, in the end. So I, first of all, was there in a voluntary capacity. I helped organise the brown bag lunches at UBC for about a year. And then I was asked if I was interested in joining the board in 2013, and that was in the position of the Director of Grants. So I took up that role and I stayed in that for 2 years until 2015, when I actually left Vancouver and came back to Ireland. So now, since I've moved back to Ireland, I've moved into the field of education. So I work in a university here in Dublin called Trinity College, and I work in an access program within the School of Education here. So the access program is all about broadening and widening participation in higher education for everybody. So to include and particularly focus on students who are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds, and to make sure that they have equal opportunities to experience higher education. My background in science is, it began with an undergraduate degree in microbiology. And then I did a master's in molecular medicine, and that brought me into the field of biomedical science. And I did my PhD in the biology of breast cancer, so molecular biology. That was my background. And then in Canada, I continued in research with a postdoc again in biology. So in UBC, I was using proteomics to look at breast cancer cells and to develop treatments for that. So my career has progressed from a bench science one in research to more of a broader career in education, and not specifically STEM education, although that does come into it. I suppose I became interested through my scientific career in the barriers that people sometimes experience in getting into science, getting into STEM careers, particularly women and those from disadvantaged backgrounds. I realized when I was doing research that science can be exclusive to some people. So this shift in my career has taken place over a number of years. I became more interested in education when I was in Vancouver. After my postdoc, I took a job in Science World, where I was engaging with the public around science, and I was engaging with young people in helping them to develop science projects outside of the curriculum in school. And this really led to my interest in why people choose to do science and STEM as a subject in school, and why they choose to progress with it when they go to university and beyond. So I've learned in my role now that it's very important to focus on who has access to science. I mean, we still see some schools here in Ireland who are girls' schools, and they don't offer a lot of the STEM subjects, which really means it's very difficult for girls then to take up STEM as a career. I would say my most memorable experience at SCWIST was when we went to Maria Issa's house in North Vancouver one time. So this was the board at the time, all members went. Maria hosted us there and provided some lovely food for us. And some of the previous founding members of SCWIST were there as well. It was a really nice opportunity to get together as a board socially, to catch up and to hear some of the wisdom that the founding members of SCWIST had. It was just before I was leaving the board to go back to Ireland. So it was a really special time for me and a special memory. Maria actually asked me if I would stay, and, you know, even if I wanted to perhaps try and be president of SCWIST one day, something I would have loved to try and do if I unfortunately didn't have to come back to Ireland. But that was a really special memory that day. 40 years of SCWIST is a really amazing milestone. It actually coincides with my own 40th birthday this year. So I think that's really, there's some synchronicity in that. And it's amazing that it's still going strong as an organization and engaging so many people and doing so well. And my hopes would be that it continues to do so, that it continues to attract people who are passionate about what they do and who are really excited about working together on a team and who just want to get things done and to make progress. You know, I think we have made a lot of progress in the last 40 years, thankfully, in terms of the careers that are open to women, but I think there's still a lot more we can do, which means there's still a need for SCWIST. It hasn't, the need for SCWIST to be there hasn't disappeared, unfortunately. You know, the networks for women to help them, what do I want to say? Networks such as SCWIST are so important to support women because, as we all know, a career in STEM can be difficult. It can come with barriers, and it's just so important that women are there to support each other through these difficulties. And yeah, I would hope that SCWIST actually becomes even more prominent, more known by the general science community, and that it becomes even more important as a voice for those who perhaps don't have a strong voice to begin with or aren't represented. I wanted to give the message that SCWIST was such an important, memorable part of my experience and journey in Vancouver. The whole experience wouldn't have been as special without being a part of SCWIST. Everybody there made me feel so welcome and so part of the team, and I really have great memories and cherish those friendships. I'm still in touch with some of the people that I met through the board today, and it was a real honor to be asked to comment on SCWIST's 40th anniversary and to be part of that. So I'm really grateful. And next time I'm back in Vancouver, I'd love to come and visit with you all.